All right, good evening, everyone. Thank you for tuning in to HBTV, another episode of the show with your host Harry Bugarin. If this is your first time joining us, I do thank you, and if you are a continuing viewer, I do appreciate all the love and support. Again, this channel was built to inspire, influence, educate, and empower. And again, we bring on guests from all over the world. You know, if we can, to be on the show, to share their positive vibe, to share their positive message. I am very excited for tonight's episode. We have a couple of guests. One is going to be Toni Fountain. She's going to talk about her business, and she has an important message that she would love to use HBTV as her platform. And then following that, we will have the main guest of our student athletes, which I'm very excited to talk with. They're all lining up in our Zoom lobby now, which is cool. So again, here with HBTV, we are big supporters of local businesses, supporters of mom and pop businesses. We want everybody to thrive, whether it's here in Carson, next door to us in Long Beach, or anywhere in this area. But again, with Zoom, it allows us to promote everybody around the world. So right now, my first guest, I'm going to go ahead and switch over to our Zoom, is Toni Fountain. So help me welcome Miss Toni Fountain. How are you tonight?
I'm well.
Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us tonight. So, Toni, do me a quick favor. I always ask my guests to give their 30-second elevator speech of who they are and what they do, and just go ahead and follow up with that message you would love to give us.
I'd be glad to. So my name is Toni Fountain, and I am a resident of Lakewood, California, just down the street from Carson. And I am a small business owner. I'm a hairstylist, and I've been styling hair, going on 12 years now. This is actually a second career for me. I used to be in commercial real estate. That being said, I love being a business owner. And as a hairstylist, I have that freedom to be artistic, but also be a business owner and have control of my livelihood. But in recent events, my livelihood, my brothers and sisters who are also hairstylists and barbers, that has now been, we're in a difficult time. And this is why I'm really grateful for this platform, is because back in March, we were shut down, hair salons were shut down, for about 3 months. Mm-hmm. And here we are in August, and imagine we are in August and I have only really worked 3 months out of the year. So we were shut down, we complied, and the numbers weren't, the numbers were going in our favor. And then we were allowed to open up June 1st. Now, June 1st, we were opened up, strict guidelines, CDC compliant, temperatures at the door, waivers. We did everything to the T. And we were only opened we were open June 1st, and then we were closed back down July 13th. So as a hairstylist, I'm a sole proprietor, and I'm not alone in that. So if I don't work, I don't get paid. And nor do I want to be a burden on the state and federal unemployment. So all that to be said, we have been shut down again for the second time, all of California, I think, or some counties. So as a result of that, we still don't have a reopen date in mind. We are hearing conflicting stories. Sorry, my dog. We are hearing conflicting stories of why we can and why we can't. The governor and our licensing agency, California State Board, has said, okay, you can open up, but you may not do any services that require you to enter back into the establishment.
Okay.
So essentially what that means is you can only do haircuts outside. And I understand, but perhaps those people who made those rules didn't really think that through. So let me just paint a picture for you.
Okay.
So let's say I'm cutting Sally's hair outside and it's dry haircut because I can't bring her inside to wash her hair. The dry haircut, right? And we're in the wind, dry clippings blowing in the air, just blowing randomly. 2 doors down is an outdoor dining area, which is lovely. We want to support that business. But because they're outside, hair is now flying around. How sanitary is that? It is not. So what we want to do is we want to be out there and speak and get in front of the people who we need to get in front of and say, look, we are safer in our salons. Well, our agency, our state board, we are required 1,600 hours of training. And that requires, sanitation, disinfection, how to cut hair, everything. But throughout the whole 1,600 hours, I'm learning techniques to keep both you, the client, and me safe.
Right.
So put it in the context of, okay, I need to go to Target. Target is like 125,000 square feet. How could they possibly sanitize that entire building, brick and mortar? Because there are people picking up stuff, putting it back down. Okay. Meanwhile, in my salon, we have 2 people. We maybe have 200 square feet. 200 square feet, I can sanitize and disinfect like that. I don't double book. There's no, plus ones hanging out and having a good time. It's a very succinct and clean area. In fact, we don't let anyone in unless we get a temperature, they sign a waiver. There's a plethora of things that we are complying with the CDC and the state board, but yet people can line up outside Target, that 125 square foot place. Some wear masks, some don't, although they're getting better. There's no way that they can disinfect the whole entire store. So what we as hairstylists are asking is, let us open up. We are trained and we are licensed to keep you safe. And we just want to be heard, because not knowing when we can go back to work, it's a very frustrating feeling. So in light of that, we are rallying a peaceful protest in Lakewood this coming Tuesday, August 4 at 2 p.m. And I invite, everyone in the service provider industry that is not being able to work: hairstylists, barbers, lash artists, waxing, sugaring artists, anyone who wants to get back to work, wants to get off aid for that matter. And even I'm inviting my clients, look, I want to see you again, but I can't right now. My hands are tied. So we just want to be peaceful and say, hear us, because we're not going away and we are essential. But don't make the blanket statement that you can't go back to work.
Again, you're watching Hbtv with your host, Harry Bugarian, on the show. And our special guest for the first segment, we have Toni Fountain. I think that's a great message. And I do feel for all the small businesses out there that are struggling during this time. But just to pick your brain, and you don't have to answer, tonight on this episode. I'm going to have you back again on Sunday for the beginning of the episode there with your partner.
Yes.
But is there any middle ground? And I'm just thinking of some solutions. Is there any middle ground? I know the state is asking for you guys, hey, you guys got to be outside. And you painted a great picture about the hair flying all over the place, because sometimes we do get the hair in our food, which kind of sucks. Even without being outside. But how about just a suggestion? And I'm gonna paint a picture for you here. What about tenting that outside area to where you don't get that gust of wind and you can't get anything carrying over? So you get a tent that's pretty big enough that the ceilings are pretty high. Maybe you have some plastic shieldings and things like that, but maybe as big as your suite in the where you doing business now. So that could be a solution for it. So things like that I love to pick people's brains about that, and I love to try to find solutions to what's happening now, because everybody has to pivot, everybody is doing it. But I do understand what you're saying about the big businesses out there, and you make a great point about how can they just sanitize 1,500 square feet or whatever, 15,000 square feet of a warehouse like at Amazon. But and another thing, which we can talk about as well, my question to you is, what about patients or people that have underlying health conditions? Now, for this, for men, which you don't cut men's hairs, which kind of
Right.
it's kind of a bummer, because I need my COVID hair era cut. My wife is getting pissed at me. But for men, usually we go and we sit down and maybe 15 minutes, to interact with a barber or a hairstylist. But for women, sometimes my wife takes about 2 to 3 hours. And so now you're in that contact. Now you're in that proximity with the hairstylist and that person for that close. And I understand with the PPE and the face shields and whatever else is out there available for safety. But that will definitely be something that somebody would question and ask.
Yeah. Just I wanted to touch on your point about the tent. The state board has allowed us, and they've made guidelines that we can have a tent, and there can be no more than one closure.
Okay.
So there's constant breeze, because from my understanding, COVID is an airborne pathogen. So that allows that to happen. But there are some instances where salons or stylists, we don't have an area to put up a tent. There was a stylist that I saw her post, and she's in Northern California, and right on her sidewalk is like a trash dumpster, and there's trash everywhere. It's just a public street, and she's saying, how can I be allowed to bring my guests on the sidewalk when this is what they see? And so a lot of people, again, are pivoting, and they're getting permits, or they're asking their landlords, can I be on the sidewalk? And that's fine, but a lot of people don't. And so, as much as these big stores want us to keep shopping, the people who are supporting the big stores, their hands are tied because they don't have a livelihood. So that full circle of the economy, it's stopping just short of that, because we don't have people working.
Right. Well, that's something we can definitely dig into. But I do appreciate your time, Toni, for coming on the show and sharing your message and everything that you're doing out there. So please keep safe, and much luck to you and all of your colleagues out there who share that same area in the business. Look forward to having you back on the show on Sunday. So please take care, and I'll see you on Sunday, and we'll get more into it with your partner when we get back on Sunday. You have a good night. You stay safe, stay blessed. Thank you.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thank
Bye.
you. Well, that was our first guest, Toni. And again, with HBTV, the show, we want to be a voice for everybody. We want it to be everybody's channel, everybody's show. But again, as I've stated before in previous episodes, this channel is apolitical. We're pretty much non-religious as well. We respect it, everything, but it's just not this platform or forum for that, for those type of messages with political or anything like that. But anyways, thank you for tuning in. We're going to go ahead and move on to our next section, which is the student athlete portion of this episode. I'm very excited to have them. They're all waiting in the Zoom. I'm going to transition a little bit to set everybody up. Please stay tuned, and we'll see you guys in just a bit. All right, we pretty much got our student athletes set up. I'm gonna go ahead and bring them in on the Zoom. And again, if you ever wanted to know what it is like to be a student athlete, this is going to be a great show. We got great information coming from these guys. I'm very excited myself. So let me go ahead and bring the panel in of our student athletes. How you guys doing tonight? Can you guys hear me?
Yeah.
What's up?
Yeah, all right. Cool. Good.
Yeah.
Well, so just really quick, again, thank you for you guys' time. I do appreciate it. Just a little bit background about me. If you guys don't know me, you guys don't know me, but I used to be an educator. I used to be a teacher and a basketball coach for about 13 years. I had the opportunity to, coach in Japan, come back over here, coach at Cal State Dominguez Hills, junior colleges like Harvard Junior College, and at the high school levels as well. Had a great time doing it. One thing I was never able to do, though, is actually suit up, get my jersey on, lace up my shoes, step on the court as a college basketball player. So my hat goes off to you guys. For you guys are amazing. I never had a chance to do it, and I think what you guys are doing are great. And you guys have a very powerful message tonight that I would love to hear. And, parents and kids that may be on watching this and, watching later on the recorded version, but would love to hear the ins and outs about being a student athlete. But before we get into the questions, if you guys can do me a favor, just go down the line, starting with Hana. Can you please just introduce yourself? What college, what sport, what year, and what high school did you come from?
I'm Hana Suniga. I'm from Corona, California. I went to Santiago High School. I'm now at Furman University. I'm going into my sophomore year. I play softball, and I plan on majoring in math.
Awesome, thank you. Kayla?
Everyone, my name is Kayla Padilla. I'm from Torrance, California. I went to Bishop Montgomery High School, which is also in Torrance, California. And I'm going to be a rising sophomore at the University of Pennsylvania, where I play women's basketball. And in terms of major, I'm pretty undecided, but I am at the Wharton School of Business, so something business related.
Awesome. Nico?
What's up, guys? I'm Nico. I went to high school at Costa Mesa, and I played men's basketball at Vanguard University, which is also in Costa Mesa. And right now I'm majoring in kinesiology.
Awesome. Thank you very much. And I can't see that next towel. I think it's maybe it's Megan.
Yeah. Hi, I'm Megan Sodeman. I play women's softball for Adrian College in Adrian, Michigan. I am from Corona, California, and I played softball at Santiago High School.
Awesome. Mr. Gabriel.
Well, I'm Gabriel Johnson. I'm from Tacoma, Washington. I went to Lincoln High School, and now I go to University of Puget Sound, which is also in Tacoma, and I plan on majoring in either business or economics.
Awesome. Danielle?
Hi everyone, I'm Danielle Soria. I'm from Corona, California. I also went to Santiago High School. I am currently a sophomore at Lake Erie College. I play softball there, and I am majoring in sports management.
Awesome. And Mr. Adrian?
Hey, what's up? My name is Adrian Hope. I'm from Ocala, Florida. I'm currently at Furman University. I play football, outside linebacker, and my major is computer science.
That's awesome, guys. Thank you guys for the introduction. So really quick, you guys coming from high school, you guys obviously going into college. As far as like expectations before signing day, right? Like what were you expecting before, the signing day and picking which college, if you had many options to go to? Like what was that like? What was going through your mind? And what was going on with your family at that point? Let's go with Megan.
Yeah, so before signing day, obviously it's a lot of decisions you have to make. You want to pick the right location, the right school for what you want to do academically, and the right program for you. So I chose Adrian, Michigan. I had a lot of East Coast choices for schools. I ended up choosing Michigan because the academic opportunities it gave me as well as the athletic. And that was one school that I really felt they put a lot of money not only towards athletics but towards women's athletics, which in D3s I didn't see a lot of that. So really the split in athletics that was pretty equal, and then the challenging academics was what ultimately made my decision.
That's what's up. Thank you for that. And what about you, Nico?
For me, it was just looking for the right culture and the right fit for me. I signed pretty late in my senior year because I had options, and it was kind of difficult for me to figure out what I wanted and how I wanted to grow as a person and as an athlete. But getting to know your coaches and the coaches that are recruiting you, it makes your decision a lot easier.
Awesome. Thank you for that. And same question, Gabriel.
What was the question again? My bad.
Oh, I'm sorry. Like, what was your expectations, before signing day? Like, what were you feeling? And, how did you decide which school, which program for you to sign with? And, how was that feeling with your family?
Well, for me, I signed super late. I didn't sign until almost June last year. But mainly the thing that came down to was cost, and mainly where I felt most comfortable at. So with UPS, my brother also goes there. So helped me feel real comfortable. And it was one of my best visits I had out of the couple visits from the schools. So that's really what was a factor, was price and just how I felt at the school on campus.
That's awesome. And again, same question, Kayla.
Yeah, so I was really fortunate enough for my family to let me drive the entire recruiting process. So at the end of the day, I think my biggest factor in terms of choosing a school is academics. At the end of the day, we're all student athletes, but I wanted to find a place where I felt like I was more prioritized as a student than an athlete.
Awesome.
And I think Penn offered the best route in terms of the ball's going to stop bouncing one day, and I think they provide really great opportunities in terms of networking and career opportunities. So.
Awesome. Again, you're watching Hbtv, the show. This is the student athlete episode. I'm your host, Harry Bugarin. And Hana, same question for you.
For me, it was really price, I guess, and then how I felt with the team. And I was fortunate enough to go to a school that I already had one girl a year older than me. She was already at Furman. So it helped a lot with her being there and knowing what her experiences beforehand. And I also went with another girl on my travel ball team. We went together the same year. So that was also a big factor in choosing Furman. And I think with my family, it was hard going so far away to South Carolina. But I think my parents wanted me to have a great experience and do something that may not be normal. And traveling, it's fun. It's a different experience, and I don't know. I was really excited to go there and do something different.
Awesome. And your college mate, Adrian.
Yeah, so I was fortunate enough to have a bunch of players and coaches around me who did the recruiting process, and one of the biggest things they told me was you have to live there no matter where you play football or not. You can always get hurt. And so whenever I came to Furman, it just felt like the closest to home. I guess I was most comfortable there, and so that played a big part in my decision. And also the academics was a huge part, and so yeah.
That's cool. And Danielle.
Yeah, for me, I knew I wanted to go out of state. I also looked into the pricing, as well as the academics. For my school, they had my major, which was the number one thing I was looking for. From going to California to Ohio, it's a big move. So just being comfortable in that environment. And when I went out to go visit, the culture was definitely what I wanted. The school size was perfect, and all that above. So, yeah.
That's cool. That's cool. So really quick, you guys talk about moving and being in different areas, being in different states, miles away from home. So what is that like? Like, you know, leaving your home, leaving home base. You guys got to go to this campus. You don't know anybody really. You know, you get in. You're the new girl. You're the new guy. This is a new program. Some of you guys, I think, are in the snow. I can't even handle the snow. So that first month, that first initial month, you guys get to your dorms, you get to the programs, you meet everybody. What's going through your mind? Like what kind of emotions, what kind of feelings do you got? Are you saying, man, why did I even sign up here? I need to go home. Like what is going on and happening there? I see Megan smile, so I'm gonna go ahead and ask her first.
Yeah, absolutely. It's definitely a difficult transition, I think, moving away in general. But for me, I went 3,000 miles away, and it gets as low as 5 degrees in Michigan. So it was definitely a big decision, a big adjustment from 100 degrees out here to getting down to 5 degrees in the winter. But ultimately, I think it's two things, really. It's your support system and just kind of what you put into it. So my family, they called me every day. I called them whenever I needed them. They were really my rock for the big move and for the big transition. And I really just put myself out there. It's kind of nervous. It's kind of nerving when you enter an environment where you don't know anybody. It's a whole new state. You don't know the campus yet. But once you put yourself out there, you make friends, and you get to know your teammates. It's honestly not as bad and not as intimidating as it seems.
Awesome. What about you, Kayla? What were you feeling?
Yeah, the first month is definitely a pretty difficult transition. Very close to my family, so moving across the country was pretty difficult. And I was homesick a lot of my first month. But the great thing about being a student athlete is that when you enter a school, you kind of have this immediate sort of group to fall into, and have upperclassmen to show you the ropes, and just have incoming freshmen to also be nervous with you.
Yeah.
So I feel like that's one of the really great benefits about, being a part of a team, is that you get to go through everything together. So
That's awesome. That's awesome. Thank you for sharing. And Danielle.
Yeah, for me, it was a difficult transition, just because my family we're very close knit. I do have a really big family, so being away from them was kind of hard at first, but you do have a big responsibility for yourself, and for me, it was kind of like an easy transition as well, just because my school, we have like welcome week, and just connecting with the other softball players was a good vibe for me. Just like the overall chemistry of the school, just because it is so small, it made it easier for me to adjust and get close to my teammates as well.
Awesome. What about you, Adrian? How'd you feel about that first month?
Yeah, my first month was it was pretty bad. It was very humbling because I had the big head and whatnot, so I didn't like do what I was supposed to do. I wasn't in shape, and so like I was catching like hell from like the workouts. It was just all over a bad experience. I was ready to go home, but like coming in with a team, I realized like when you suffer with people, you tend to grow stronger bonds, and so that was huge for me. Like all the boys around me picking me up that I've never met before was like really huge, and it just showed me like no matter what, I always have my teammates, and from there we started to grow.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Again, you're watching Hbtv, the show, with your host Harry Bugarin and my special guest tonight, all these wonderful student athletes. Gabriel, same question to you.
So for me, I didn't really move. I went from being 10 minutes away from home from high school to being now 20 minutes away from home at college. So
nice.
For me, I didn't personally go home for about the first 3.5 months. I didn't go home to my birthday in November. I moved in halfway through August just because I was busy like right away with football, like right off the bat. So it was kind of hard because I have a little brother at home, so like I wasn't really able to see him sometimes. But that being on campus with all the new teammates, I was able to bond with him quickly. So, and then I also have my brother there, my older brother. So like I saw a family there with me. So wasn't really hard because I wasn't really far away, but at the same time, like not being able to go home all the time because of sports was kind of hard.
Right. Thank you for that. Hannah.
Yeah, for me, basically the same thing. For the first month, I was really homesick, like definitely homesick, because I'm really close with my family. But once I got into a routine with conditioning and practice and class and just being around my teammates, it got better. And I feel like once you get in your routine, everything gets much easier, and like you don't really worry as much from being away from home. But I think the biggest thing was being with my team, and especially my freshman class, there was only 4 of us, so we grew really close, and we went through a lot together, so it was much easier that way.
Okay. And Nico. Nico, you there? All right, we'll catch Nico at another time. So you guys were talking about, just being there, transitioning in, and trying to get used to and getting your flow and groove. So let's talk a little bit about a balanced campus life. All right, from academic and the athletic programs, balancing those two together, or just having some time for that. Tell us a little bit about your guys' regimen as far as a daily grind, I would say, for you guys to do. Because I know when I was coaching, all the players, they had to obviously go to their class, but sometimes we had 5:30 a.m.s, right? And then we double back from like 2:30 to 5:30 or something like that. So walk us through, like before the pandemic, when you guys were in your programs, walk us through your daily routine. How did you guys fit in the academics and still play at the highest level you guys can, once you guys got into practices and things like that. Adrian, we'll have you go first.
All right, so I realize it take a lot of self-discipline. So it's a lot of stuff you have to go to. You got to go to weights, got to go to class and all of that. But that's only like the stuff you have to do. So then you have stuff like you got to eat right if you want to perform well on the field. You got to study, got to do your homework. It's just like a lot of self-discipline and time management, which they do help you out by giving you a schedule. But for me, like I used to stay up late at night, but it was hard on me. I was dragging in workouts and then I had to carry over to class. So then it just became like this big rollover effect. So it really will take you doing like the little stuff right, eating right, getting a lot of sleep, and just managing your time well. That way, when you want to have fun and stuff, you're not boggled down with homework or stress about practice not going well or something.
I understand. Thank you for that. What about you, Hannah?
Yeah, for me, we would do, I would have early, I would try to get early classes. That way I had more time during the day before practice starts, because we would always have late practices. And usually I'd go to class from let's say 8 to 12. And then, I'd eat lunch, and then I'd do some homework maybe and chill out before practice. Started at 3, and then go probably from 3 to 5. And then we would go to weights afterwards sometimes. And then after weights, we go eat. And then I'd come back to my dorm or at around, let's say 8 or 9. And then I do more homework.
Wow.
And then go to bed.
Wow. The daily grind. What about you, Nico? How did you balance the athletics and the academic life through that time?
At first, it was pretty difficult because sometimes classes can be draining, and then right after class you have to go to practice and give your all. So it really just took time, and I think it just helped me mentally. You just have to sometimes just push through it, and but as time goes on, you just get more used to it, and it just becomes a routine. And after a month or two, it just became a lot easier for me, and I just went on a roll after that.
Awesome. Good to hear. Danielle?
Yeah, for me it was kind of difficult, but so a daily basis would be we would have lifts at 6 a.m. and then I would have breakfast after that, so it would be 6 a.m. to 7 a.m. and then breakfast for me, And then right after breakfast, I would have an 8 a.m. class. And then I would have another class after that as well. It was just adjusting and a lot of time management for me, because I was used to not like doing all that stuff back home. But I was able to adjust, kind of what Nico said, it became like a routine. And after that, it became like easier. And although it's like draining for practices at 6 a.m. and then same day practices later on after your classes, it's just very draining. But you know, you have to grind through and push through and do it for yourself as well as your teammates.
Always the grind. Everybody sees what they see on TV with the athlete hitting that ball, shooting the hoop, dunking, or making that touchdown, but they never understand really what goes behind all that before you even step on the field, right? You don't win in the classroom, you're not going to win on the field. That's what we always tell our guys. So I'm going to move on to that next question, though. So when I was coaching, you know, we wanted to make sure our guys on the team were academically qualified to play for the season, or you know, for the next half after winter. In your programs, do you have any type of support systems to where there's either tutoring or you guys get some one-on-ones or study hall like we used to do all the time? And believe you me, I was in study hall with these guys quite often. Is there something like that in place at your programs, Kayla?
Yeah, so I'm really fortunate that Penn has a really great support system in terms of academics. So for starters, each player on the team is assigned to one coach, and that coach has maybe bi-weekly meetings as to where they catch up, nothing regarding basketball, but solely academics, and just asking how our classes are going and if we need any additional help. And on top of that, we also have mandated study hours where we got to go to report to a certain place to study for a certain amount of hours each week. So as sometimes it was kind of a bore to go to that, but it really kept us in check in terms of having a certain amount of time to really focus on studying, and that's it.
Awesome. What about you, Gabriel?
Yeah, so we during first semester, every single week, either on Tuesdays, Thursdays, we'd have a mandatory study session you had to go to, whether it's usually after practice, like after you get iced up and everything, then you go there for about 45 minutes to an hour. You just do work straight on schoolwork, and it helped a lot having the upperclassmen be there. They'd taken the classes I've already taken, so if I ever needed help, I could just go to one of them and ask. So it's because a lot of them ended majoring in like business or econ, something like that, so they knew like exactly what I was going through. So when I was struggling, I'd just ask them. And then come second semester, was when we had like more time to talk with the coaches. So once every week or once every other week, we'd come in, talk with one of the position coaches just about like life and how school's going. So there's a lot of things where the coaches made sure we had chances to get help and just talk to them about life, where just sports wasn't really part of it at all.
Right. So let me ask you guys this: like going through junior high school and high school, I guess it's a two-part question. So do you think your programs, your schools, you know, prepared you for what would be at the next level, whether it be for the athletic program and especially for academics? And what suggestions would you give, you know, to schools and programs to help out these young athletes coming in the next 3 or 4 or 5 years? Like, what can they do to prepare to be where you guys are at now, to make it, and I'm not saying like an easier transition, but more equipped with the tools that they need. You know what I mean? So everybody okay with that question? All right, so let's go with Megan first.
Yeah, so our high school had a lot of advanced placement classes that I took advantage of. Usually students are interested in them because they do boost your GPA and give you a little bit of extra points in that area. But I feel like really the classes prepare you for college classes. Like rather than just focusing on passing the test and getting the extra GPA and having it look good on college applications, which is what we all thought about when we were taking the classes, once I got to school, I realized that those classes really did prepare me for what I was facing in college. And I actually used some supplements that we had for AP biology in my college biology course.
Wow.
So just saving all of that stuff, it really helps prepare you.
That's awesome. What about you, Nico?
I think my classes, I did AP classes as well, and I think it prepared me pretty well for college and, you know, the things I was going to learn in the future. And then, like, athletic-wise, I think, you know, high school prepared me as well. But the thing that I would, if I went back to high school, what I would like to have is, you know, just more of a concentration on, like, conditioning, you know, because first month of school, we had, like, Hell Month. And that was so tough for me because I just was not used to any of that, you know?
Yeah.
Like 6 a.m.s, 3 hours a day, and then going to class, like that was just like a whole new world to me. So I don't know, just conditioning for like high school, I feel like would benefit a lot of people and help them transition to the next level.
Awesome. What about you, Gabriel?
My coaches in high school are similar in the aspect of college because for football, we had to have at least like our coach would be do a weekly grade check. If you didn't have a C, and if you had below a C, you couldn't play at all. Like he wouldn't let you practice. So then that got me ready for college because I knew if I'm failing, there's no reason for me even playing because academics are always going to come first, especially at like a school like UPS because it's D3. So athletics there isn't really the focus. Like they always preach academics first because they'd rather see us succeed for the next 40 years than just the 4 years in the program.
Right.
And that was something like preached that Coach Matt preached to me at Lincoln. So it was just something that really helped going into college.
And shout out to Coach Matsumoto at Lincoln High School football out there. Same question out to you, Hana.
Yeah, for me, I've always been very school driven. So I feel like for me, it was my high school did prepare me, and like my AP classes, the level of difficulty was pretty much the same, and the expectations were the same. And Furman's a very academically driven school as well. So I feel like nothing really changed, I guess, and like the difficulty level. And I think it was a really easy transition for me from high school to my university. So.
No, that's really cool. So thank you again. You guys are watching Hbtv. Your host Harry Bugarin with my special guests here, all my student athletes on this panel. It's awesome. I'm learning a lot. I'm very excited about the information that they're giving out to us. So moving on to the next question. As far as degree completion programs, and what I mean by that, let's just say, for example, an athlete goes down with an injury, they can't play anymore. Is there something that you guys were even like granted to say like, hey, if you do get injured, you can stay here and finish off your 4 years, get that degree. We'll still honor your scholarship. Let's go with Kayla.
Yeah, so the thing about Ivy League and their athletics and the way they operate is that they're technically not allowed to give athletic scholarships. So the way they cover students is in terms of just giving us financial aid. So technically, if we were to go down with an injury, we would still be able to have our financial aid with us to carry out our 4 years or however the remainder years are left. So it's nice having that guarantee because injuries are so common nowadays. Right.
And the only reason why I asked that because it does happen. And unfortunately, when I was coaching, I don't know about now, we didn't have that. But just to ask you guys, anybody in this panel, do you guys have that type of program set within your program to help you guys out if you're injured? You could just raise your hand and we can answer from there. Adrian?
For us, I'm not sure we really have a program, but I've seen a ton of players get injured. And so what our football team has done is like they'll allow you to keep your scholarship, but you have to like work with the strength staff or like do video production for the team or something like that. Way you still part of the team. That way you still get to do everything we do, and like you still get to keep your scholarship.
That's awesome. Anybody else in the programs have that instilled? Yes.
For us, I believe, yeah, you still are guaranteed the scholarship. I know we've had multiple injuries on our team. My coach does require everyone to like go to the sports therapist, do rehab. For me personally, I've had a shoulder injury, but it limited my sports play, but I was still guaranteed the scholarship. Our athletics is our school is very athletic based, so it's probably like 70% athletics. But overall, yeah, you are guaranteed the scholarship.
That's awesome. What about you, Gabriel?
So we're D3, so we don't have any athletic scholarships given out. So if you get hurt, it's just financial aid. But we have a lot of players on our team who have been hurt, and they usually just help out with the team regardless. So yeah, it's just all academic based financial aid. There's no really sports scholarship that you could get.
What about you, Hana?
Yeah, we're pretty much guaranteed our scholarship depending on her injury. I know one of our girls, she had a back injury and she wasn't able to play this past year. And she really did a lot of stats for us the whole year because she needed surgery and she hadn't gotten surgery yet. Well, she recently got surgery, but this whole past year she would do stats for us. And I know for me, I hurt my thumb like halfway through our season, but it still didn't change anything. I still was like with the team, still out there doing my thing, doing as much as I could. But yeah, pretty much our athletic scholarships are guaranteed.
That's awesome. I'm glad you guys got all that in place. What about internships? Do you guys have like internship programs tied in with your programs? Like somebody said, one day the ball is going to stop bouncing, the lights are going to go down, right? So are there any internships programs that you guys are aware of that you guys are going to get into, or any of your your seniors got into those things? Let's go with Megan.
Yeah, so for Adrian College, we are a smaller college, so they call it Take Your Bulldog to Work Day. Basically, they offer internships across all our majors. They usually do it in local areas with local businesses, so they take our sports medicine students and they'll intern at our college and work with our athletes. They do a lot of business locally as well. They'll do business internships, and yeah, it's just they have a lot of great opportunities, and they give out a lot of information when you come in, so you can prepare yourself for the qualifications you need for those internships, and they really get the ball rolling for you.
That's awesome. Gabriel?
So in the second semester, before everything happened, they had internship opportunities with alumni across different fields. So, but I think that's mainly for the upperclassmen, and they had it in different states also, like for the alumni who work in different states. I know there's people in Hawaii, California, Oregon, Washington, and then yeah.
Cool. What about you, Hana?
I haven't really looked into it, but I know that Furman does have a lot of internship opportunities. And I know that one of our seniors, the summer before her senior year, she internshipped at a local hospital, as she's I'm pretty sure like a biology major. I know she wants to be a surgeon, but she is going to medical school. So I know that she did that internship for the summer. So that was cool. I'm pretty sure it was through Furman.
Very cool. And Kayla?
Yeah, so I'm currently in an internship right now, which is a lot of it credited to Penn. But in terms of Penn offering those kind of opportunities, within the basketball program alone, we do have a lot of events for networking. So a lot of past basketball players who have come through the program are obviously established in their industries and are able to offer us these kinds of opportunities. And they also give us a chance to help us build our resume and kind of help with interview tips and things like that. So we have a really good networking system in place at Penn.
That's awesome. Adrian?
Yeah, so one thing we have here is a Furman Advantage. And I'm not sure what it all entitles, but they do a great job about linking you up with internships in the local area. I know me personally, we have at least three people on staff here at Furman that like their job is to get you internships, and so they do a great job. They help you with resume building. They like walk you through all of that stuff, and then they like ship it out, and they basically manage it for you. So they're pretty good about it.
That's awesome. And Nico, any program set like that for you guys?
Yeah, so Vanguard, it requires all freshmen to take like a certain course first semester to just teach you about the school, and then like they require you to download this app called Handshake, and basically what that app is it just connects you with other people that have already graduated or who are looking for interns, and it just helps you connect with helps you get your name.
Okay, awesome. Again, you guys are watching Hbtv, the show, the student athlete episode with your host Harry Bugaren. So right now, I'm going to take some questions, a little bit of questions from the audience that are watching. I got softball question for the first one. So for all my softball players out there, here's a question for you guys. All right, it says here, let me just find it here. At what age did the softball athletes transition from rec to travel ball? Go ahead, Danielle, if you can answer that one, please.
From rec ball, I want to say I was 11 or 12 years old. But it was a big change because rec ball is just like within your community and at a local park. But once you move on to travel ball, it's like you're traveling, you're competing against higher level groups, higher level teams. You also get to travel like to Utah or Colorado for tournaments and like championship games. So it was a big change for me. But it benefited me in the long run because it made me more competitive and gave me a lot more skills. So.
Awesome. Thank you for that. And Megan?
Yeah, there's really no set age on it. Some girls can go as early as 11 or 12. I'd even say as late as 15 to 16. It's really just based on what you want out of the sport. So rec ball, I started rec ball when I was younger, and I just wanted to play the game and enjoy it. And once I realized how much I loved softball and how much I loved the competitive part of softball and how I wanted to play it for a long time in the future, that's when I switched over to travel ball, which I was about 14 years old when I did that. So it's really just based on the athlete, I would think, and what you want out of the sport.
Awesome. And Hana?
Yeah, I agree with Megan. It definitely, like, the age of your transition from rec to travel ball differs with so many people. Like, I know people that switched to travel ball when they were like 8 years old. But for me personally, I switched probably when I was 13, and it was a big change. And I think that anytime you switch over from that lower level to a higher level, going to a high level is going to be a difficult change, but it was definitely beneficial. And like, I don't know, yeah, I honestly don't sorry, it doesn't matter what age you are.
Awesome, thank you for that. So we have another question from the audience here. For the students who moved away from home to attend school, with the current pandemic and lockdown, did they have to move back home or did they stay in the area? So for those of you who had to move away, just go ahead and raise your hand, and you guys can speak on that. Let's go, Kayla.
So Penn as a university had to kick everyone out, I believe mid-March. So I went home right away as soon as the news surfaced. And it was right before we were entering our playoff tournament, so it kind of sucked. And we were the first conference tournament to get canceled, so we thought it was just us that wasn't going to be playing. But it turns out that everyone eventually didn't play. So yeah, I've been home since March. Okay.
I'm sorry, Danielle, you had your hand up as well.
Yeah, for my school, I don't think it was they kicked out everyone. Like they just limited the amount of people, and they gave you the choice to go home or not. But for me, we were actually in a tournament in Florida, and during all this pandemic, and so we were playing for the last day, and they actually didn't allow us to play our last game of the tournament. They made everyone stop, and so for that, I went home right after that, and then continued school online, as well as finals and all that good stuff. So yeah.
I see. Good. Adrian.
All right, so for me, it was actually my spring break. So I actually went home for spring break, and it was like, oh, we got an extra week. So, I was excited and stuff, and I never ended up going back. And it was just a crazy experience. And so.
Okay, Hana.
Yeah, so we were in the middle of the season, so we were still on campus. Like everybody was on their spring break, and then only the spring sports were on campus. And we found out like on a Friday that Furman was kicking people off campus, and we had to leave campus by that Sunday. So I had to leave pretty quickly, and I was honestly like freaked out, and I was calling my mom like after our coaches told us, and I was like they're kicking us off campus. Like I have to come home. And we have another week of spring break. So I went home that next Saturday.
Oh, wow. What about you, Megan?
Yeah, so same thing. It was pretty sudden, and it was like right at the start of our season, so it kind of sucked for us too. I believe it was March 14th I came home, and we were told maybe 2 or 3 days before that. So it was kind of like you got 3 days to pack up as much as you can fit in suitcases and get a plane ticket home. So it was stressful, but made it home in one piece, and we're just grateful that the school was able to keep us informed and keep us safe, and that they definitely made our safety a priority. So
that's awesome. Again, you guys are watching Hbtv, the show, the student athlete episode. I just got a couple more questions for you guys before I let you guys go. I know some of you guys want, like me, myself too, I want to watch that Laker game, but just a couple more things about you guys, all right? So really quick, do you guys do anything on the side, aside from being a student athlete, aside from playing your sport and the academics? Do you guys have a small business? Are you guys writers? Are you guys film and content makers? Do you guys produce beats? Do you guys sing on the side? Like, what do you guys, if anything, if you'd like to share with us, we would love to know what else you guys do. Anybody? Gabriel.
So for me, after football season ended, I would help go back and volunteer at my high school for wrestling, because I was their heavyweight last year. So I'd go back and help out with heavyweights and go to some of the tournaments with them and some of the matches. Just help coach, especially at the bigger tournaments when they needed more people there to help. And then I was also for my work study job second semester, I got some of the easier work study jobs, so I barely had to do anything. But I was a basketball manager, so it was just go to the basketball practice, help out with stats and stuff like that. So, but yeah, that's some of the stuff I was able to do outside. And then I do go on Twitch, occasionally when I usually play against my friends on Twitch.
That's awesome.
So I win sometimes, but yeah.
Well, you got to give me your handle so I can see you stream sometime. But that's really cool. Thank you, Gabriel. Anybody else want to share anything? Kayla.
Yeah, so the quarantining and all that has kind of been a blessing in disguise in that I've had the time to kind of start my own media platform. So it's called The Sideline Post, and essentially it's modeled after the Players Tribune, which is kind of a vehicle for athletes to share their stories firsthand, written by the athletes themselves. The Players Tribune is where Kobe announced his retirement. So I was wondering why there wasn't a similar platform for college athletes to do the same. Of course, big names like Tua or Sabrina Ionescu could go on the Players Tribune, but what if someone like me, who wasn't as well known, wanted to get their story out? So I started that platform in April, and have had maybe 10 plus stories of college athletes around the nation sharing their stories. So it's been a really amazing opportunity to meet everyone and build the team.
That's awesome. If you guys haven't followed that yet, again, what is that? What is the account?
On Instagram, it's at the sideline post, and then we
Okay.
have our website too, thesidelinepost.com.
That's awesome. I'm gonna put that in the description for everybody to get out there and follow. And much luck and success with that, Kayla. Anybody else? Yes, Megan.
So I do coaching as well, which is just very rewarding to give back to a sport that has given you so much. I do lessons, and then with my assistant coach, we do coach travel teams as well in hitting. So coaching has been very rewarding. And then I also volunteer at animal shelters. I am studying to become a veterinary medicine doctor.
Awesome.
And volunteering is just a great way to give back and gain experience on how to handle animals and just the procedures, and getting to know veterinarians already is just great connections to me. So.
Awesome. That's great. That's great. Anybody else have anything they want to share aside from their sport or academics? Well, that's awesome. Well, make sure you guys follow some of the stuff that's happening with these other athletes. I just want to wish you guys all love, all success in everything that you guys do. I do appreciate your time and being here with me on this Zoom, on this episode. You guys are awesome. This is my first season, man, and you guys are part of this. And my whole goal is just to use this channel as a voice and platform for people, for everybody, student athletes, anybody and everywhere. So I do appreciate it. You guys are part of this. That's a lot of love and blessings to all of you. If you guys do have aspirations to play professionally, much love and success on that as well. I hope you guys get there. I hope you guys get there and fulfill your dreams. But as you notice, sports wasn't really my topic and my emphasis today. I wanted to hear more about the academics, how you as a person handle all of the the trials and tribulations and what you guys go through, and your information getting out there to the kids and to the parents, I think is great. So before I let you guys go, you guys have any last thoughts or comments before I let you guys go? Yes, ma'am. Kayla.
I just want to thank you for allowing us to be here. And I know when I was in high school, I was looking for a lot of platforms for college athletes to kind of share on their experiences, just for guidance. So I'm really thankful that you're doing this just to spread the message. And for having us. So thank you.
Thank you, Kayla. All my pleasure and all love. Anybody else?
No doubt. This was a great experience. It's just great to hear other people's their trials and tribulations. And I just want to thank you, like she said, for having us and letting us voice our opinions without no politics or anything like that. So thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Hope Attack. Mr. Hope Attack right there, number 81. Go ahead and follow him. Anybody else? Yes, ma'am. Danielle.
Yeah, I just want to thank you for having us. And I think, the idea of playing in college and working so hard for it while I was in the recruiting process, it seems daunting, but as long as you put in the work and you believe in yourself, you'll get there 100%.
Awesome. Thank you. Danielle?
Yeah, I also want to say thank you so much for having us on. This was a really good experience, not only for us, but for the people watching. I also want to say to the youngsters, never give up. Keep following your dreams. And you could do anything you put your mind to. So, yeah, and shout out to my family who's watching.
Awesome. Thank you, Danielle. Anybody else? All right, guys. Well, thank you so much for being on the show with me. Thank you, Hana. Hana's my niece. She got together, her softball friends here, which is cool. Nico's my cousin. Shout out to his dad. My Uncle Al, for getting that through. And, just everybody out there. Kayla, I know some of your family. I'm going to have your coach on here as well soon. So I appreciate you guys' time. Enjoy the rest of you guys' evening. Stay safe, stay blessed. Thank you, guys. I'll see you guys next time. And I would love to have you guys back on, catching up with you guys again. And maybe we can get more people on the panel and get this as a cool platform for everybody. You guys take care. Stay blessed. I'll talk to you guys later. Man, what a great show with these student athletes. They had some great information. Great to see them. Great to meet all of them and connect with them. It was really cool. Love to catch up with them in a later show. But that pretty much runs our episode for tonight. Thank you for sticking with us here on HBTV, The Show, with your host, Harry Bulgarian. We're going live again this Sunday with Teta Boy, Tecurio from Hitia Otera. He is a Tahitian musician, drummer. He's going to have some cool things to play for us. We're going to talk about Tahitian culture, dance, family, and just all of it. So stick with us for this Sunday at 6 p.m. That's usually our regular time. But sometimes I do go live when I can just catch the guests at that certain day. So again, thank you for your time, your eyes and your ears. Do appreciate it. Love you guys, and you guys be safe. Until next time.